Hi, everybody. It's me, Lisa T, coming at you with some positive energy reading The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie. It's been 3 days since I did a reading, so I got to do some catch up here because I had a severe allergic reaction, so much I had to call 911. And I flared up around my eyes. So if you can see that right now, I'm on day 2 of recovering from that. So I had to skip a couple of days because I have come on here. I come in here pretty much in the raw a lot of the times. I mean, I come all dolled up too, but I do tons in the raw. But it was really bad. It was really bad, and it was not video appropriate. So, anyways, here I am back and catching up and excited to do so. So we are reading. Did we do that one? Clear thinking, yes. Right? Today we'll strive about clear thought of keep our thinking back on track. Yes. Clear thinking, right? Recover didn't mean we'll never. Yes. Okay, good. So we're doing September 15th. Feelings. So important. This world, man. I've been, on the spiritual journey for decades and learning about my feelings. The first feeling I learned about and read about, I think, was shame. And then how to deal with thoughts and the feelings in your mind. And then I did a lot of like present moment studying, and but big time in the last like 6 years I have come into awareness of how important it is to feel my feelings, to honor my feelings. I pushed all of my feelings aside, hence why I was a codependent. Like, as long as you were okay, then I was okay. If you're feeling sad, then I'm sad. If you're happy, then I'm happy. Like, I was so emotionally dependent on others. My emotions were totally dependent on how someone else was, and that's a lot to unravel when you've done that your whole life. So feelings, and I've wrote a song back during COVID about the emotional journey of life. It's all an emotion. It's all feelings. The journey of life is about feelings. And meanwhile, we live in a world that so many disregard their feelings. They don't know how to tap into their feelings. They don't even know what they're feeling. So many people. I have a dear friend of mine that she talks to me and she's like, I don't know what this feeling is, like, because she's never spoken about her feelings. So I've learned the more that I can tap into my feelings, express my feelings, then I get stuff out of me, and then I can live free and clear and present. Then I can be my true authentic self. Then I'm not hiding behind any veils of others' feelings, or I'm experiencing the world. And we get one life. This is my life. I come into this life alone. I'm going to leave alone. It's my journey, and I want to feel the spectrum of emotions that we get as a human being. I think that's part of being human. Once we get back into spirit, which I think actually I'm going to do some readings. I think we are, like, there's this, it used to be we're human. No, we're on a human journey. And then it was like, no, we're a spirit being we're spirit having a human experience. I actually think we're spirit having a spirit experience, from the latest studies that I've been doing. So we're just, this body is just like a vessel to tune in to the energies, so that we can learn where we're not shining, and so we can shine more in those areas. So we come into this body to evolve. So spirit having a spirit experience through the body. The body is a way for it's a tangible thing that can give us signs, like when I'm angry, where do I feel it? Like, I feel a tightness in my forehead. Some people might feel it in their throat or feel a constriction in their chest. If I'm closed off to love, then I feel a constriction. If I'm open, I can feel my heart open. I feel a tingle in my body. Like, so the body is a signpost to tap into our feelings and what we're experiencing. So feelings, so important. Okay, December 15th. It's okay to have and feel our feelings. All of them, the whole spectrum of them. Years into recovery, we may still be battling with ourselves. This was me till recently about this issue. Of all the prohibitions we have lived with, this one is potentially the most damaging and the most long-lived. Like I said, right? My whole life. And most damaging. That's powerful words. The most damaging. And I agree. When I'm shut off from my feelings, when I'm denying my feelings, I abandon myself. I'm rejecting myself. I'm abandoning and rejecting myself. What could be more painful than that? When I'm like uncomfortable in my own skin. I remember I haven't felt that in a long, long time. And recently I felt like uncomfortable in my own skin. It was because I was going through a lot of grief, and my grief is a huge trigger for me to beat on myself. So I disattach from myself. And of course, I suffer immensely. So most damaging and most long-lived is this prohibition, this thing that we do that stops feeling our feelings. So many of us needed to shut down the emotional part of ourselves to survive in certain situations. Again, back to childhood. Always is back to childhood. We developed these coping mechanisms in child when all we could do was survive. So we had to shut stuff down so we could just survive. But we don't have to just survive anymore. We want to thrive. So we're not surviving. So we can then now, these emotional parts of us that we shut down, we can now reopen them because it's safe and secure to do so. We shut down the part of us that feels anger, sadness, fear, joy, and love. We may have turned off our sexual or sensual feelings too. I just only recently became okay with my sexuality, because of all the stuff that went on before it. So yeah, so we may have turned off our sexual or sensual feelings too. I definitely did that. Many of us lived, and I go into autopilot kind of thing when it's, in personal situations. So many of us lived in systems with people who refused to tolerate our emotions. That was definitely my upbringing after my mom died. My emotions were not tolerable to my caregivers. They just couldn't tolerate them. I can't deal with it. I remember my dad I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this. Oh, Lisa, you're overreacting. What are you gonna do? There's a real problem. I heard that stuff in my life, and later on in my life too. So I was taught the world could not tolerate me. So of course I felt like a burden. Of course I felt like too much, and I should just be alone, and I should just then go with everybody else's flow, because my flow, the world can't handle it. But that's not the case. I know that because I'm living my truth these days, and the more I'm more accepted, I have more support system, I have more in my life because of that authenticity that I'm learning to live. So many of us lived in systems with people who refused to tolerate our emotions. We were shamed or reprimanded, for expressing feelings, usually about people who were taught to repress their own. It's not their fault. It wasn't malicious. We just pass on what we know. We pass on what we know. That's why it's so important to go on these spiritual journeys. It's so important to learn this. So important to, identify with the true self so that we don't repeat patterns of, generations. But times have changed. It's okay now for us to acknowledge and accept our emotions. We don't need to allow our emotions to control us. So they don't control us. We don't have an emotion and then just react on it, but we honor it and then we respond appropriately. We don't need to allow our emotions to control us. Neither do we need to rigidly repress our feelings. Our emotional center is a valuable part of us. It's connected to our physical well-being, our thinking, and our spirituality. This stuff I'm gonna tap into after these readings are done is about that. The emotional center. It connects us. That emotion stuff connects us to our well-being. When we are connected to our emotions and where we're feeling stuff, we can heal ourselves, physically and emotionally. So it's connection to our physical well-being, our thinking, and our spirituality. It is connected. Our feelings are also connected to that great gift, instinct. They enable us to give and receive love. Our feelings enable us to give and receive love. We got to tap into our feelings so that we can receive love, so we can give authentic love, unconditional love, not the love that, I'll love you as long as you do this. That's not love, right? So we gotta, let it begin with me. Let's start, a trajectory of authenticity and speaking about ourselves and opening up and feeling our feelings so that we can authentically give and receive love, authentic love. We are neither weak nor deficient for indulging in our feelings. It means we're becoming healthy and whole. Healthy and whole. If someone says oh God, all this feeling stuff, they're not a happy and whole person. They're not tapped into their selves. So we don't need to follow suit with that person. Stay true to yourself. Here's your prayer for today. Today, I will allow myself to recognize and accept whatever feelings pass through me. Without shame, I will tune in to the emotional part of myself. Unapologetically, I might add. Okay. Mwah! Amazing reading. I love it. Thank you for watching. I love you all. I appreciate you all. I appreciate your feelings. I appreciate you being on this journey with me and taking a stand for being in a better, true, authentic self, living in this world, and be an example. Thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're on the journey with me and that you're loving this just as much as I am. Okay? Namaste. Have a great day.